Hey everybody, Phil Tutes again. Phil Tutes here. Phil Tutes, Phil Tutes. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about, a man named Gilbert Ryle. And he believed that all views lead to absurdity because of linguistic illusions. He believed, for example, solipsism was absurd. Now, solipsism is the idea that you cannot know anyone else's minds but your own. You're the only mind that you can know, that you can ever know. That's called solipsism. And Ryle said this is absurd because it's like the ghost in the machine, or that you are just a machine and that there is an essence about you. And this is absurd, Ryle says. He said that you are actually a bundle of behaviors. Ryle said that if you want to find out, if you want to learn who you are, you do that through a study of your behaviors. And because of our own investigations of our behaviors is a little bit biased, sometimes it's important to realize that people know us better than we know ourselves, because we are just a bundle of behaviors, and that is all we are, and we can only know ourselves through a study of behaviors, through a study of our own behaviors. So that's Ryle. I'm Phil Tutes. Alright, next person we're going to talk about is a guy named Frank Jackson. Frank Jackson. Frank Jackson believed that all mental language can finally be analyzed into behavior. He said that certain private phenomena that there are certain private phenomena that these are aspects of living that are private to you, and he called this qualia. And qualia basically means subjective, conscious, experience. So, for example, Fred sees a bunch of tomatoes, and he says some of these look good, some of them look bad. That one over there looks good. Those few over there don't look so good. They look bad. Now, to someone else looking at these same tomatoes, they're gonna say, "Oh, all these tomatoes look fine," and it's this difference, sort of opinion, I guess you could call it, that Jackson would call qualia. Or, for example, let's say there is a unique experience also to color. We each get our own specific, unique example, or experience, to color. So some of us can get sort of a vibrant feeling from color, like, or the color on, like, a girl named Maggie's cheeks or something, when, like, maybe a guy named Dylan sees them and he gets, like, this feeling inside of him because of the red color. And it's this subjective experience that maybe this guy Dylan would get from seeing Maggie's red cheeks, that maybe somebody else would get a different experience. Or what if her name was Maddie? It'd be all the same. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. It's that subjective conscious experience that is what qualia is. It's that idea that we get different feelings and different experiences from different things. And Jackson called that qualia. And I'm Phil Tutes. Alright. Next person we're going to talk about is a guy named J. Bennett. J. Bennett. Now, J. Bennett came up with something called the ought question, which basically was saying that bad morality can fall under conscience. It's not always what is legal or illegal. So, for example, the consciousness of Huck Finn, the conscience of Huck Finn. Huck Finn decided to help Nigger Jim instead of turning him in, which he knew was the legal thing to do. It was the right thing to do in the name of the law. But Huck Finn said, I like Nigger Jim. I don't have to turn him in. And even though he acknowledged that he was wrong, he felt it was bad to break the law by helping Nigger Jim. He even said at one point, I don't care, I'm going to hell for helping this guy, for breaking the law. So that is sort of the difference between bad morality, where bad morality can come from. Does it come from breaking the law, or does it come from a feeling of sort of deviating from your conscience? And that was a theory that a guy named J. Bennett came up with. Go, Tutes. Alright, next thing we're going to talk about is relativism versus absolutism. Relativism versus absolutism. Relativism is that which is not universal. It's a type of morality that is not universal. Absolutism is a moral theory about a morality that is universal. Now this means that it's kind of in the name. So a morality that is relativist is a morality that depends on certain situations or certain people or certain time periods, certain aspects. It is relative to, for example, the country somebody's in, or relative to who is being put to the test of this morality, or what time period they were in. So, for example, a relativist might say that it was okay to enslave people back then because it was alright. Or it's okay for, let's say, a white guy to beat up a black man back in the past. That's alright, because it's relative to the time period. It's not universal. It's not absolute. Which brings to the absolutist moral theory, which is basically that there is a morality that can penetrate all throughout time, to all cultures, to all countries, to all people, that it is solid and it doesn't change. It is universal. It stays with us forever. It's solid, you know, like a relationship between, I don't know, like a girl named Maddie and a guy named Dylan. It's solid and it stays that way, and it will only get stronger. That's absolutist morality. I'm Phil Tutes. Alright, okay. Next thing we're going to talk about is value theory. Now, value theory is basically a philosophical analysis of morality. And out of this comes a subcategory of ethics called normative ethics. And there are different types of normative ethics. One is general normative ethics. Now, general normative ethics is a philosophical analysis of the fundamental principles of morality, such as, for example, utilitarians. Another type of normative ethics is applied normative ethics. Applied normative ethics is the philosophical analysis of a particular moral problem. So, for example, we got things like capital punishment or abortion. And then there's one more type of normative ethics, and that is, this isn't a specific normative ethics, but it's called meta-ethics. And meta-ethics is basically the philosophical analysis of moral concepts and reasoning. And that's it. Alright, okay. Last person we're going to talk about is Aristotle. Aristotle. He came up with the idea of what's called eudaimonia. Eudaimonia. Eudaimonia, which means wholeness of life. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Basically, this wholeness of life is For example, you have to experience the bad just as much as the good. If you never cried in your life, if you never lost something, then you never lived. Eudaimonia, to achieve it, is to experience everything, to experience a whole, a full life. Euthanasia. Etymologically, this means good death. Good death. When you look back at your life and you say, I've had a good life, I've lived fully, that is called eudaimonia. Alright? Eudaimonia. When you look back at your, or when you say, I'm ready to die, I'm ready to go, I'm fine, that is called euthanasia. Euthanasia. I like to think of it like there's youth in Asia. So, an example of like the young girls in Asia, youth in Asia, is Socrates. Socrates knew he was going to die. Alright? And how did he spend it? He spent it talking to his pals about philosophy. And he said, basically, I was ready to go. And this is called youth in Asia. The youth in Asia. So copy that down.